My father, Selahattin Ulkumen, and my mother, Benveniste, were witnesses to part of this great tragedy unfolding before their very eyes on the island of Rodos. This was year 1943. They saw the betrayal of God, the treachery of man, and the fall of humanity. They also saw how man could kill his neighbor simply because he was different. They realized how it was possible for people to close their eyes to the truth because of their own hatred, cowardice, or simply indifference. My father and my mother could not simply stand by and watch. They did not close their eyes, nor did they acquiesce in the hatred or indifference which existed. Instead, with my mother's support, my father stood up, not as a hero, not as a diplomat, not as a Muslim, nor a Turk, but rather as a man answering God's call to protect his brother, a call that would later claim the life of his dearest person to him, my beloved mother. I was, of course, deeply marked by my father's decision, both as a child and as a young adult. I believe that the choice which my father made at great risk to himself, his family, and his future career was the right choice, and ultimately, as we shall see, led to the loss of my mother, barely 28 years old at the time, and also to that of my grandmother, the two women who would otherwise have been an indispensable part of my life. With time, these feelings of deep loss were attenuated, not because I had grown older and grayer, but because I realized with growing certainty that my father could not have taken any other decision. For him, it was not just the right thing, but the only possible thing he could do. He always used to say, "We Muslims are like Jews. We share the same Father and the same God. We also share the same belief, which, as we know, is deeply rooted in Jewish teaching, that he who saves a single life saves the whole world." And it was this belief that compelled my father to save scores of Jews in Rodos during World War II. By late 1944, Turkey had decided to join the Allied powers, and as retaliation for having saved and helped the Jews on the island of Rodos, 2 Luftwaffe planes bombed the Turkish consulate in Rhodes, severely wounding my mother, as well as killing 2 other employees. My mother, who was then pregnant with me, later on died after having given birth. And when she died, I was 1 week old. My father was then deported by the Germans to Piraeus, on the occupied mainland of Greece. He spent the remainder of the war in detention. On learning the news of her daughter's death, my grandmother went into a state of shock and shortly thereafter shot herself.